Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Elite City Podcast. Tonight, we are doing our review of the Dynasty pay-per-view. What's up, Rick? I had a great time.
Yeah, it was a fun show. It was, maybe we'll start with that, actually. Did you think it was too long?
I'm going to say this with an asterisk. I have a very, very, very bad back. I broke my back. So anything that I have to sit for long periods of time towards the end of it, it's miserable. So for me personally, I was sitting on a couch. My legs were up. I was fine. But if I'd have been there in person, I would no way have made the whole show. I'd had to leave. So that being said, on a couch, it was awesome. But if I'd have been there live, it'd have been way too long. But
I know that it was too long because did you notice by the end, I think it was Tony Schiavone or whoever, were just like, everyone's still here. Thanks for staying. Thanks for when you're thanking people for not leaving. That it's like, and they didn't leave. Like, I'm not saying people left, but like, when you're thanking people for not leaving, it's long.
Yeah. My I don't know. It's just not a solution, but I just throwing this out there. Should AEW pay-per-views break the mold and start at 7 and go 7 to 11?
Yeah. Because I have no problem with them being long, like especially because they're making, like they're paid, right? They're not like WWE,
right?
Just included in your Netflix or whatever,
right?
So you have to pay money for it. So I have no problem with it being long because you get your money's worth, right? You do every time. But yeah, maybe they should start at 7, or especially when they're on Sundays. I can see Saturday starting at 8 because people can generally stay up later on Saturday. But like Sunday, it was over at 12:30 on Sunday. Like people have like jobs to go to the next day.
Yeah.
Like if you were there, it's probably like it needs another hour to get home from wherever you're at, right? So you're home at 1:30 in the morning, and that's a lot. So maybe start at 7.
Yeah. But that being said, it was a wonderful show. Definitely money's worth. Definitely money's worth.
Everyone's mad though.
Yes, because the Bucks returned and Mox kept the belt. I think it was awesome because I'm all excuse the pun. I'm all in now. Like I'm invested again. Like I want to know why, and I'm just happy. It's awesome.
Yeah, you know that I'm not the biggest Young Bucks fan,
right?
But like that was good. I liked it. I'm surprised that so many people hated it so much. I get that people don't want Mox to hold the title anymore, but did you hear what Copeland said, which is kind of true? Like, I get that the reason people want to hold the belt is it's kind of boring, it's kind of dull. I get it, but like Adam Copeland was saying, like he's also a heel. You're not supposed to be happy when he wins. Like you're supposed to be mad.
True.
So he is kind of like, I mean, the match was good. It wasn't even a bad match.
Oh yeah. The match was wonderful.
When they started with the MMA type stuff, like that was kind of cool. I liked that. It was unexpected, but I liked it.
Very, very unexpected. Yeah, I liked it too.
The only part that was kind of weird for me was the ladder, because like, why would you like? I get why Mox climbed the ladder, but why was Swerve climbing the ladder? Like it was.
Yeah, like we're just how. See, I'm speechless because this bothered me when it happened, and I think I was speechless when it happened. Like suspension of disbelief, I understand it's professional wrestling, but how does Paul Turner not be like, you're not using that? Like he could.
Especially because we'll talk about it later, but especially because what we saw earlier in the night, where the referees have a lot of discretion,
right?
So, yeah, that was weird.
Yeah,
but the ending I liked. I agree with you that I want to see what happens. I want to see where it goes. I liked the whole thing. I liked Hangman coming in and not being sure who he was going to hit. Like he was all in on hitting Swerve, but then he was like, Mox is also like, I liked that. I liked that the ops were involved. That was cool. Like I didn't expect that.
What again? Funny. Totally thought that the ops were 3 guys that jumped over the rail. I was like, oh my god! Oh wait, no, that's Samoa Joe. Like,
nice.
I literally almost stood up in my buddy's living room. It was like,
nice.
That's not supposed to. Oh wait, no, it was supposed to happen.
And like maybe the once Dynamite, we're doing this before Dynamite airs, so maybe once Dynamite airs, I'll feel differently because I didn't like the EVP thing because there was so much that they didn't explain. And I didn't like the Mox, the Death Rider stuff at the beginning because there was so much they didn't explain. Like they did drop the ball, in my opinion, on both those things by not explaining it a little bit more.
Agreed.
So there's a chance that the Bucks come out on Dynamite and just be like heels and not tell anyone why they're suddenly siding with the Death Riders. And like that would really annoy me. So it could easily turn into something I don't like. But
True.
at the moment, I'm happy. I liked
Yes.
it. I thought it was fun. It was a good. It was. I thought the Bucks were going to return because I messaged you earlier in the night.
Yeah.
I think the Bucks are going to come back because this is a pretty predictable pay-per-view,
Yes.
and they'll want to do something to get people talking, which they did. I didn't think they'd come back and cost Swerve the title, so I want to know why. Like I do want to know why.
Oh, yeah, and there's just so many ways this can, like you said, like with Hangman involved, Hangman could go either way. There's the whole elite thing. There's like,
I was trying to think what makes the most sense because the last time we saw the Bucks, they were kind of letting the Death Riders do whatever they wanted. Right?
Yes.
But they also like shredded all that stuff and ran away from them after they lost the tag titles, which was interesting.
Yeah.
And then the Death Riders beat up Brandon Cutler.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
So why would the Bucks be with them if the last time we saw them, they were running away from them? Like, I'm not saying they can't explain it. They easily could.
Right.
But like, what do you think? Why do you think they're with them now?
That's a good question. I don't know. It could just be like the whole, well, I'm going to use air quotes here, power struggle thing within like the, align yourself with the world champion type deal. Like, hey, you're the champion. We have a little bit of sway here together. We'd have more sway.
Yeah, there was something because the Bucks were cool with the Death Riders until they lost the tag titles. And then suddenly they were scared of them.
Oh, that's true.
So there's something there. Like, why were they cool with them until they lost the belts and then suddenly they weren't anymore? Like it's something to do with titles and I don't know what it is, but it has to, I feel like it has to have something to do with titles.
Interesting.
But I liked it. And that's a lot because I make fun of the Bucks all the time, but like, that was cool. When they showed up, I was like, oh yeah, that's awesome. Like, that's going to be really fun. I really want to see where this goes. I really want to see, because when is it that they do Anarchy in the Arena? Isn't it soon? It's usually
that's what you were talking,
right?
Yeah, you were talking about that last week. It's coming up.
So do they typically do Blood and Guts first or Anarchy in the Arena first? Anarchy in the Arena first, right? And then Blood and Guts is like
yeah, because I remember when they hired Regal, it was roughly around this time.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, he could finally say Blood and Guts.
Yeah.
And yes. So you're
so
right.
Whichever order they do them in, because they might, I think one year they did Anarchy in the Arena at All In. So like they've moved that around.
True.
But that time is coming up. So you figure if you're going to be teams, it's probably going to be the Death Riders and the Young Bucks on a team.
Oh yeah.
And then the other team, you're assuming Swerve, the Ops.
Yeah, that's 4.
And then Hangman will be conflicted.
Oh, true.
Is he going to want to side with Swerve, even though he hates Swerve? But Swerve kind of, said he was right to hate him.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, it's fun. Like I want to see where this. I do really want to see where this goes. I'm excited for it. I hope it goes somewhere. I really do.
Oh, it's going to.
I was really excited when they did the initial thing with the Bucks when they beat up Tony Khan and then they brought back Jack Perry. Like that had potential, and that kind of down spiraled pretty fast. And I was really excited when Mox first came back and was like giving those cryptic promos, and then that kind of really didn't go anywhere either. So I really hope this goes somewhere because it kind of needs to. Like they can't have a third angle that doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, I agree.
But I want to know. I'm right now. I'm excited.
Now, does this lead to, like, do you think Jack Perry comes back?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what happens with the Elite because I was telling you earlier, like when we get to Omega stuff, like I'd prefer if Okada didn't go back to the Elite and just did his own thing with Kenny Omega.
Okay.
I'd prefer if they ignored the fact that the Bucks beat up Kenny Omega that time Like, just forget about that. Who cares? Like, we can just move on from that because I
Oh,
think
but see that.
Omega Okada doesn't need that stuff. I think it can just be a feud on its own, but they could fold it in there too. Like, they could fold it
Yeah.
in with that.
Oh man.
Like, they
could
could involve Kenny in this. Like, that would be fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Death Riders is 4, then the Bucks
Oh
is
yeah,
2
yeah.
more, and say they get Okada on their side because if we're bringing in Omega, we have to bring in Okada. That's too
Okay,
many
so
people. That's 7.
That's 7. You're looking at 14 people.
That's too many.
That's way too many. What do they usually? Is it usually 5-on-5?
I think it's 5-on-5, and I think sometimes 6-on-6.
Okay.
But yeah, I would like to. If they're going to
Interesting.
involve Okada, they have to involve Kenny.
Yeah.
And I mean, they could. That would make sense. But I don't know.
Yeah. See, but then again, you're like, you'd want to eliminate a lot of those people having belts because you wouldn't want all your belts to be in a match where there was no way in hell that they were going to change hands.
Right. Yeah.
You're not going to
the Continental title, the International title, and the World title, and the Trios titles all in the same match.
Yeah. Like, you got to put money somewhere. Like, even though you pretty much know who's going to win every time, you can't do that.
Right. That's true. Yeah.
But that being said, we are up for some belt changes here soon. We'll move along. Speaking of title changes, the Ring of Honor title finally changed hands. It was Chris Jericho versus Bandito in a mask versus title match, which I watch Ring of Honor every week, and I did not know that was a stipulation going into this match until the pay-per-view. So that was funny. That was funny to me.
What I learned is that if your mom points out a mistake,
correct,
the referee can reverse it.
Yes.
Well, apparently only if it's your mom though, because like Swerve got screwed.
Yes.
Right. and he didn't get that reversed.
That's very true.
So I'm guessing it has to be your mom, or maybe sister. Like, it has to be a family member. And then they're like, yeah, okay, we'll listen to family members.
I knew something was up at, like, anytime you have like a gimmick type finish when it's like hair versus hair, something like that, the second that it's over, the gimmick starts because you don't have that much time to do it before the next match has to start.
Yeah.
And when Paul Turner rolled it, like, or I can't remember if it was Paul Turner or Bryce Remsburg, the referee, like, went over to him, was like talking to him, and I even said, like, oh, I hope the guy's not hurt.
Yeah.
Because why aren't they taking his mouth? Like, why is the camera cutting over to like his parents? Like, and they're still talking. And then all of a sudden, Justin Roberts there was like, they're going to either keep going or reverse the decision. And I was like, I'm okay with that. Like, that's kind of funny.
I'll admit that I bit on the finish. Like, when Jericho won, I was like, oh, damn it. Like,
I was mad. I was definitely mad too. And
like, I bit on the, but like, he could have just lost. Like, he could have just lost the match.
It's like, again, I know I say it all the time. Like, I couldn't do what Chris Jericho does, but Chris Jericho turned into the person that he hated in the late 90s. Yeah. Like, he can't lose clean, and when he does, it has to be like a passing of the torch moment, blah 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 blah. Like, come on.
He could have just should have just lost. It could have just been like Bandito won cleanly, and then that's the end. And like, if they wanted to involve the family, have Jericho threaten to hit him with a bat, and then like the sister grabs it or something, and then
like, do something after the match. Exactly.
They didn't need Jericho. Could have just lost the match. Like, it was dumb in wrestling logic because they never reverse a decision. Like, you always hear like, oh, the referee's decision is final, but it was also like dumb because like Jericho can lose to Bandito and it doesn't affect him in any way.
That's the other thing. Like, he's a legend now. Like, Chris Jericho could lose to me on Dynamite tomorrow, and people would forget who I was before the show was over, and he'd still be great. Like,
it's like we talked about it last week. I heard Swerve saying like, this isn't real, right? So it doesn't actually matter. And also, like, you can write a story based on losing. Like, if Jericho loses, then he could have a story based on him being upset that he lost or whatever, right? Like, that, it's wrestling. You can do that. So yeah, I don't know. And if it's based on a real sport, like, people in real sports lose all the time.
Yeah, right? Like 50% of the time, someone loses a sporting event.
Right.
So
like, it's not like, I don't know, I don't know who's a good football player. What's his name?
I don't know. I don't watch football anymore.
Taylor Swift's boyfriend, Travis Kelce.
There you go.
It's not like he lost the Super Bowl and now everyone's like, well, his career's over. Screw him. We're going to ignore everything he ever accomplished because he lost that one game. His career's in shambles. Like, no, like he won a bunch of other, like, that's not how sports work. Right. Like,
yeah. Good point. Yeah. If you want to sell it on it being a real sport, I mean, it is a real, like they're athletes. They're doing like real athletic thing. Like, yeah, a real competitive sport. Yeah. You gotta, yeah, I agree. And that's where it gets me. Again, I know you're trying to sell tickets, but every once in a while, you got to throw in a title match that, just like in the UFC, a title match can be 4 seconds long in the UFC if someone gets knocked out. Like, not saying that the match has to be 3 seconds long, but you could have a title match that, I don't know, goes 8 minutes, right? And it would be a shock.
I mean, do you remember that? I know now we know because of it was involving backstage politics and people disagree and whatever. But that match between when Punk had the belt against Moxley and it ended in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Remember Punk kicked him and it hurt his foot and then Moxley just beat him up. Like that was cool. Like that never happens. And that was cool to have something like that happen. And I know like obviously there's like egos and whatever involved, but like it's not an actual like it's not a competitive sport. Right. Like Swerve was right. You can take a loss and write it into the story. You can add it as a part of your character that you lost. And like you can make if your character depends on you just winning every single match, like that's a crappy character. Right. Like you have to be able to lose sometimes.
And it gives you like, adversity.
Right.
Like you go on a win streak, say, and then like you're riding high, and then all of a sudden what goes wrong? You lose like 4 in a row.
Right.
And then like, that works with your story. Like, oh my God, I couldn't lose a minute ago. Now I see, that's amazing. Awesome.
Jericho losing to this guy that like he made fun of and he mocked his family, and like Jericho losing to him that could be a story. Then Jericho could come out of it being, I can't believe I lost to that guy. I thought he was nothing, and like that could be a whole thing. But now it's just like, what are they doing? Like, it's stupid. He should have just lost the match.
Exactly. But now he's finally, he's finally out of the picture, and Ring of Honor is finally like, I don't want to say not relying on like the old guard, because I mean, they're still have to do that a little bit, but there's people in Ring of Honor that are now becoming faces of Ring of Honor, so I'm happy that that's going to give somebody else a chance to, elevate to world title contendership now.
I would really like Ring of Honor to be what NXT was like, in like 2017 or whatever. And by that, I don't mean developmental, like where you like NXT in like 2016, 2017, whatever, was before AEW was around, was like the super indie. It was like, we're going to get all the cool indie guys and we're going to have really cool wrestling and stuff that you wouldn't necessarily see on a TV show. And it's on the internet. So the matches can be long because it's on the internet. It doesn't matter. And we can do whatever we want, right? Like they could make ROH like the cool, like if you really like technical wrestling or high flying wrestling or wrestling, like that's where you could see it. Like that's what they should do with it, I think.
NXT, was it on the network or was it on YouTube?
No, it was on the network before.
It was on the network. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's true. I never thought of that. That's exactly what it was. It was basically Ring of Honor with the budget.
Yeah, pretty much. Like that's and I mean they started hiring people from Ring of Honor. Right. They brought in a bunch of they brought in Samoa Joe and Adam Cole and all those people from Ring of Honor to like make a bigger budget version of Ring of Honor. So yeah, they could like Ring of Honor should just be that. Yeah. That would be cool. People would watch that. And it would be like the the Sickos show, right? Like you don't have to watch it. It's not part of like AEW continuity really. But if you want to see the guys who are probably going to be at AEW one day, or you just want to see like really good wrestlers, that's what it'll be.
That's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
But still kind of, but it's also, I was just going to say, it's also kind of developmental too, right? Because you'll have, like, I don't know, you just have a good match to Sammy Guevara versus, I don't know, Lee Johnson, and it's a banger, and you know who those people are. And then you might have Toa versus local talent, but they're on TV, like
Right.
you know who's going to win, but
Right.
that person, it might be their first time wrestling in front of a television camera. Like
Right.
there is a lot of that.
So
And
when Jericho was
oh,
ROH
sorry.
champion, was he ever on ROH?
He wouldn't wrestle. He would do like a lot of backstage stuff, a lot of promo stuff, which obviously that I always get confused when they tape Ring of Honor. That's before Collision or after Collision, correct?
I don't know when they do it now, because they used to tape
Oh yeah, that's right. They do it
Rampage with
differently now.
Dynamite. Now they don't anymore. I think they might tape half and half. They might do half of it with Dynamite and half of it with Collision now. I'm not sure.
Well, he must do that whenever, and the reason I say this is you can hear bumps in the background. He must
Right.
do his Ring of Honor stuff whenever like Dynamite or Collision is taping.
Right.
So, which, I mean, I don't have a problem with that. So he could, be home. But
Sure.
as far as matches goes, his last match on Ring of Honor TV per se was the pay-per-view.
Yeah. See, like
So-
if you're gonna, like, NXT would do that too. Like you'd bring down not down, but you'd bring over someone
right.
who's like a bigger name, like a veteran, and have them work like when he was Claudio. So like when he was Cesaro, Claudio went to NXT when it first got on the network and became a thing. Like Claudio went there and wrestled a bunch of matches just to like get people in the matches, right? Like give them TV experience, people who hadn't seen TV before and stuff. So like I like what Dustin is doing down there, because that's kind of the same thing, right? He's experienced, he's been in wrestling forever, but he's wrestling. It's weird that like you would make Jericho the champion perceivably for like the name brand value, but also for the experience, and then have him not wrestle.
Well, this is just me talking. I don't know if this is true. I'm guessing based on what you said, the reason Dustin is there and wrestling is, I would say 90% of the Ring of Honor roster is him and his and QT students.
Right.
So they might feel more comfortable if they like after a match to go to Dustin as opposed to going to a Chris Jericho. Right. Again, we always say say that that's weird. Like, I'm here for the rookies, and then they go to talk to him and get punched in the face. But,
right.
like,
Yeah. Yeah, no one ever talked to me backstage. Well, when they did talk to me, if they didn't shake my hand the right way first beforehand,
right.
I swore at them and kicked them out of the locker room. But I don't know why no one's asking for my advice.
Right. Yeah, like the weird rules of
wrestling is
wrestling.
Weird. Anyway.
So anyways, yes. But yeah, that's a good point. Like maybe it's for the like people just to be more comfortable, like even screwing up. Like, right. I had a bad match. What can I do to be different?
Right.
Anyways.
Jericho should have just lost. Anyway, moving on.
Totally. Moving on. The International Championship 3-way match. If Speedball Mike Bailey wasn't a star, I mean, he was an indie darling, but if he wasn't a star before this match, he made a name for himself in AEW. This match was phenomenal.
This match was great. I felt bad for it because I was so tired by it that like I wasn't. I wasn't like paying as much attention. I think I did like nod off for a second during the match, and it wasn't because the match was bad. Like the match was great, but it was also midnight, right? So I was just like, I felt bad for them in that respect, but they had a great match and the crowd was into it. So like the crowd was good considering how long of a show it was. The crowd was good.
That's where you get. Philly will never get tired during a wrestling event. The show could still be going on and they'd just be drunker.
I loved because Kenny and Speedball were kind of just, we're gonna do athletic craziness, and Ricochet was just like a jerk, and like him becoming a heel was so good. He plays off the faces so well. Like he knows, like he's fine with making himself look stupid. Like when he's getting slapped around, like he has no problem with that. Like he knows he looks dumb, but like that's his character, so it's fine. Like it was great.
And I know I'm gonna. This is me contradicting myself. When they slap him on the head and he was doing the WWE overreacting, like
Yeah.
grabbing his head and like falling to his knees, like, meanwhile, like he just got punched in the face 47 times. He didn't budge, but like you slap him on the head real hard, falls down and begs you to stop. Like, it was so good.
It was good because it was supposed to be silly.
Exactly.
Right. So it
Exactly.
worked. Like, it wasn't supposed to be super serious. So it worked. And then like Speedball's insane. Like,
Yeah.
he's just like, yeah.
And going back to both of them, when Ricochet was on commentary and gets super kicked by
Yeah.
Speedball, who was not even on, that camera work was so well done.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it was perfect.
Ricochet's
Just
face
so
is like
point.
right up close to the camera.
Yeah.
And his foot just comes and hits him in the side of the head. That was great. That was fun. This match was fun.
It was.
And it really woke people up. Like, the Jericho stuff did kind of calm everyone down, because they were kind of just like, oh, that was, you could tell the audience was kind of like, okay,
Yep.
that was kind of stupid. I'm not really like, I didn't care that much. Like, that's the other thing, not to go back to the Jericho thing, but like,
go.
People don't care that much about Bandito. No offense. Like, they like him, but like,
Agreed.
it's not like it's not like Swerve or someone where they're like, oh, we desperately want this guy to win. Like, they were happy when he won, but like, they didn't care that much. And then like, if you're, 80% happy for someone and then you get a weird ending, now you're suddenly 50% happy and it doesn't sound good. Right. So that was anyway, but that they really got this crowd back, like with the comedy aspects of it, the high flying aspects of it, just the overall craziness of it. They got everyone back.
And they showed that, like you just said, you could use, I don't want to say a segment. Well, I'll say a segment. You can make a segment of your match comedy and it adds to the drama.
Yes.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah. It doesn't have to it doesn't have to become like a comedy match.
Right. Yeah. You could do one or two little things and it actually gets the crowd like, hey, are you paying attention to us? Because look what we're doing.
Yeah.
And
like, they're all crazy. Like, it was fun. I liked it.
It was.
What did you think of Okada at the end?
I mean, we all knew that the match was coming, but I can honestly say I jumped up. I was excited. I didn't expect that soon. I thought maybe we would get like the stare down on Dynamite or something, but like the fact that they're like, nope, this is next. You're like, oh man.
What was your take on, because Kenny kind of just walked away.
Yeah.
What was your take on that? Like, why did they made a point of Kenny just walking away?
Well, as me as a fan, I was super excited, but I hope they don't just bring it into the next pay-per-view. I hope they let him go. That match deserves the stadium. I'm sorry.
No, it's going to be an all-in. I feel like.
Oh, you think so? Okay.
Yeah, okay. I think for sure.
That was the only thing I was worried about.
See what I saw some people say is, oh, maybe Kenny didn't stay in there because the stare down didn't last long, right? It was only like a second or two, and then Kenny left. And I saw some people be like, oh, maybe they're short for time, so they cut it short. I don't think that's it. I think this is just me maybe reading too much into it. I took it as, how when Kenny came back, he was like, I'm not the same guy I used to be. I might not be able to do things I used to be able to do. I have a feeling that he's been doing well. He's been winning matches. He won a title. And then Okada came out and he's like, oh, I don't think I'm that guy. I don't think I'm the guy who can fight Okada again like I could, 10 years ago.
Dude, that's badass.
I think that's what it's going to be. That Kenny's going to be like, I know I'm pretty good. Like, I know I'm a good wrestler. I know I won a title. I know I can be good. But can I do what I did against Okada?
Right.
I don't think so. Or at least doubt it. I think that's where they're going to go. And that's going to be awesome.
That is awesome. That I hope that's what happens now. That's genius. I love it.
And I think, again, Kenny's a guy who isn't afraid to look bad, like not look bad, but like look weak or look like he's not sure of himself, or like look like he got one up by, like, he's not scared about that. He doesn't feel like he has to go out and always be the number one top focus, number one top guy all the time. Like, Kenny has no problem with like, joking around. Kenny has no problem with like looking silly. Kenny has no problem with looking weaker than somebody. I don't think he does. Like, he just wants to have good matches. He doesn't care about that stuff. So I think he's totally going to be totally willing to be skeptical of himself and hesitant and not sure of himself. And that makes it more interesting to me.
Yeah. I mean, that's Hangman too. That's the Hangman gimmick. That's an awesome.
Yeah, definitely. For sure.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I mean, that adds to everything, right? Like if your whole gimmick is like, you can
True.
have a gimmick where your gimmick is I'm the best and I never lose. Like that can be a gimmick. It can be, but that's not that interesting. Like even when Jade was in AEW, and like that was her gimmick, right? I'm the best. I
Yeah.
never lose to anybody, and it works. Like it does work. But like once you lose, what do? Right? You have to have something, and we never saw what that was because she left. But like
That's true. I forgot about that.
if Kenny's gimmick was I'm the greatest wrestler of all time, sure, that works. He is a great wrestler, so
Yeah.
that could
Yeah.
be. But like you're going to lose at some point, and you have to have a gimmick to fall, like a reason. You have to have a
Right.
pivot.
Right.
So if Kenny's pivot is, I'm not sure if I can still do this. Like that's way more interesting than I'm the greatest. You're the greatest. Let's have a wrestling match.
That's very true. Man, that's awesome.
I hope that's
And
what they do. I'm totally made that up in my head as it was happening, but like I hope that that's what happens.
I now also hope that that's what happens because I mean, that's interesting. That's awesome. It's dynamic. It's character driven. And, people complain that there's not a lot of that in AEW. And
Which is
I,
stupid because there's so much of it.
yeah, that was the joke. But yeah, dude, I'm down.
And it gives them a reason to have the match again because they've wrestled like 3 or 4 times already.
Yeah.
So like they need a reason to have this match, right? Not just like we're gonna have a match. The reason will be Okada thinking, oh no, I've still got it. You're weak now. I can take you. And then
Right.
Kenny being like, I don't know. I'm not sure. I could take you before, but I'm not sure. Like that's a reason to have the match, and that's really cool.
Now, do you make it title versus title? So whoever
I
wins,
think kind of because they kind of have to, like, they're both good. They're going to push them as, two of the greatest ever having
True.
this match. So you can't really have any of them like all ins in a couple months. You can't really have them lose really, unless one of them screws the other one out of a belt. But I think they'll do title for title. I think it would make sense because they also could get rid of a title that way.
That's true too. We did talk about them merging the international and the continental classic
Intercontinental title.
Yeah, the intercontinental.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be. I'm okay with that. Yeah,
and I think it has to be at All In. I think there's no way it's at any.
Yeah, that's a stadium match. Especially, well, I mean, it was a stadium match in Japan too, but that in the United States, you put that in the
like that'll sell tickets on its own.
Yeah, that will. Yes, that perfect.
To like anyone who's watched wrestling in the last 10 years will want to see that.
Oh man, I want to see it tonight. Anyways, we had 3 Owen Hart Foundation tournament matches. Excuse me. First off, the Owen is slowly becoming like a C2 in itself.
Yeah. Especially because they added the title shot in.
Yeah. Yeah. The stipulation of if you win the whole tournament, the men and the women, you get the title shot at All In. And we had the curtain show of Will Ospreay versus Kevin Knight. And I think I texted you during this match that Kevin Knight became a star.
Yeah.
During this. No offense to Jay White, but Jay White getting hurt was the best thing to ever happen to Kevin Knight.
Right. Yeah.
He came out and they really set the bar for the entire show. I mean,
he was crazy. He like he's insanely athletic. Like that's nuts.
Yeah.
And like Will Ospreay, I don't think he can have a bad match. Like I think he's honestly at like
Danielson
kind
level?
of close to Danielson level where like he could wrestle me and it would be okay. Right?
Yeah.
Like it would be fine.
Yeah. It was just out of this world good. Do you keep the momentum of Kevin Knight going if you're Tony Khan?
Yeah, that's a thing. It's kind of hard. I think we've talked about this before, how like AEW has a bunch of belts, which is like possibly too many belts.
Yeah.
But they don't really have a belt for like low card, like just breaking in type guys, right?
Yeah.
Like the international title is too good for like someone like that. The TNT title maybe, but now Adam Cole has it. So like he's kind of a, upper mid card main event potential guy.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like, so like, how do you keep his momentum? Like, if he, again, no offense to Action Andretti, we always use him as like our base, probably because he's like the youngest person in the
Yeah.
promotion. um, you know, poor Action. Sorry, Action. You can't have him have this match with Will Ospreay on pay-per-view and then have him, tomorrow night it's going to be Kevin Knight versus Action Andretti. Like,
Right. And then just like go back to Ring of Honor or something, right? Like,
yeah. Like, he's now a star. He's now a player in the game. And like,
but there's also only so much time, right? Like, who do you?
That's what I was just going to say. There's only so much to do. I would like to see him be like TV title on Ring of Honor type level.
Yeah.
But again, that comes, that if you have Honor Club, you'll see him all the time. But if you don't, you might forget who he is. Like,
right.
And
yeah,
I hate
kind
to
of
say
think
that.
The TNT title should be the belt that changes hands more. Like,
Yeah.
have it be the belt that like kind of everyone's going for. Anyone outside of the main event is kind of going
It'd
for
just
that
be
belt.
like the TNT. Yeah, that would be
And it'll
cool.
change hands like every month or two sometimes, right? Sometimes someone will have it for a couple months, but usually every 2 months there's a new champion. And that would make sense, I think, because AEW is a lot, and wrestling in general has a lot of long title reigns.
Yeah.
So why not have one belt that like, because just position it as like, oh, so many people are going for it.
Yeah.
That it could change hands more often because like the champion just has to, and because it's TNT title, make it so they have to wrestle every week or every 2 weeks or something, right? So
that's what I was just going to say. Make it kind of like the when WWE had the hardcore title. Like, it doesn't have to be 24/7, but
make it like a TV title. Like, it has to be defended every week on TV.
Every week on TV, you have to have the match. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can make some of them short. Some weeks it can be Adam Cole versus someone you've never heard of, and it can be a 5-minute match. Like when Cody had it. Wasn't Cody doing that when it first came out? Cody was kind of doing that, right? Like, he would have a match with somebody. I know that was the pandemic stuff, but yeah. Do that. That would work. And then that would position it as where it should be. They tried to position it as like an upper card title, but I don't think it should be. We have upper card titles. We have the international title. We even have the continental title. We don't need another main event guy's title. Make it like a lower card, mid card guy. And sometimes it'll be a Kevin Knight who's only had 3 matches in AEW. And sometimes it'll be Adam Cole who's been there for years.
That's a brilliant idea, dude. You're full of them tonight, man. Keep them coming. You're on fire.
Yeah, I think that would be fun. That's where I want to see him go. I want to see him and a bunch of guys like him kind of battling it out for like the TNT title.
I'm totally okay with that. I'm on board. That's awesome. Mercedes versus Julia. Amazing match.
Yeah, that was good.
Julia has come such a long way, and they even talked about it on the pay-per-view. Like, she came in with as the cheerleader and the happy-go-lucky girl, and she is just on a different level.
Good, yeah, she's
so good now.
Her character's good. Her like ring work is good. Her personality is good. Like, she's just it's another one where I feel like that Mercedes having the TBS title for this long, and I get why they're having her have it because it establishes her as like a top thing, but I kind of want the TBS title to be the same thing. Like, Julia should win a title, Statlander should win a title sometimes. Like, have it be a title like that where it goes through a bunch of people.
Yeah, even when Jade won it, like, I mean, when we talked about the initial tournament, like, I was like, there's no way Jade's gonna win that. Right. And then, it was cool that she did. And yeah, that should have been, I don't want to call it a stepping stone title because that makes it sound like it's trash, but the first title you win should be that title.
Right. Unless you're like, somehow you come on the scene and you're a mega star, like you show up and you
player,
right? But generally I agree. Yeah.
But this match, Mercedes is, I was unfamiliar with her catalog of work prior to AEW, and talk about someone that could sell. She
sounds like she's been killed every time.
And I mean, she's so good and
Yeah,
she makes everybody look so good around her.
for sure.
Um, it just in general, this match was it, I don't want to say it was perfect, but it was pretty close.
It was
The
really
the whole
good. Yeah.
the whole thing with Julia on the Tree of Woe and so good.
Now we
Um,
talked about this when we were watching the show, but the winner of this match, Mercedes, faces
mhm,
the winner of Harley versus Athena. And
yeah,
my thinking is I don't think they're going to do Mercedes versus Athena as like a random second round match, probably on like a Dynamite. I don't think they do it there because that's a big match and
yeah,
that's a pay-per-view match. Um my guess is Mercedes costs her the match because she'd rather face Harley
yeah,
because she's beaten Harley. And then now Athena's mad and Athena
and that's how it.
how they get to their match.
uh, And if you bring it back, I think it was last year's Owen. That was the last time Athena was pinned. So like it could be like, oh, she's not good in tournaments. You
Right.
know, like
Yeah.
oh, that I'd
And
be
it would
okay with.
also and if she ended up costing Mercedes, say she costs Mercedes the tournament, right? Like she loses to, Jamie Hayter or something
Mhm.
and cost her the whole tournament. Athena cost her then they have another match
Oh yeah.
for All In. It doesn't have to be Mercedes versus Tony Storm. It could be Mercedes versus
True.
Athena and then someone else, like, Jamie Hayter versus Tony Storm. And then you immediately have two big matches.
That are two big draws too. Man,
Yeah.
that's I'm all again, I'm all in, man.
I'm excited for
Um,
it. Like people complained about this pay-per-view, and I kind of get it because the matches were kind of predictable. And like I said before the show,
yeah,
that there was nothing that was like, oh my God, I have to see that match because it's like I can't wait. Like there was none of those. But all the matches were good. Even the main event, which people complained about, but like the match was good. I liked it.
oh yeah, it was a
You
good
don't
match.
have to like it, but I liked it.
Mhm.
Um, and the pay-per-view set up a bunch of stuff, which is what the point of it was. Like it's not it's not All In. It's not,
It's
Revolution where it's one of
yeah,
their big pay-per-views. It's what they'd call like a B-level pay-per-view. It's
yeah,
not one of their top shows. So it did its job. It entertained everyone. It was a good show. It was good matches. And they all went somewhere. Like there was nothing on that show that meant nothing.
that's what I was just gonna say. Everything had its purpose, and it's everything served its purpose too. Yeah,
I feel like we're the only people who like this pay-per-view. I feel like everyone else has just been complaining ever since Sunday. It's just been complaints and complaints. But like I liked it. I thought it was good.
same. Well, we've had some people online have liked it, but it's I don't want to say it's turmoil, but it's people are
It's more divisive
overreacting.
than a lot of
Yeah,
pay-per-views, yeah. I
that
think it's also maybe the level of AEW set for pay-per-views is so high
that's also true.
that it's hard to just hit that level. But I thought it was a good show.
Same. Again, another good match. Mark Briscoe, excuse me, versus Kyle Fletcher, the second of the men's Owen matches. This is one of those ones I always say they went backstage, was like, hey, let's go out there. Whatever happens, happens. I'll buy you a
Yeah.
beer later. They just beat each other up.
Mark
And
Briscoe's another guy who I know he's not gonna win a world title, like an AEW world title,
right.
but he's such a good, like, everyone loves him. He's a good wrestler. He's a good character. Like, he's a good, like
Yeah.
barometer for like, oh, you want to have a good match, and it doesn't have to be a main event, but you want to have a good match with a guy that people care about. You can have a match with Mark
But
Briscoe, and it'll
Mark,
be good. Like the match
yeah.
will be good, people will care, and it'll be good 15 minutes, and everyone will be happy at the end, no matter what happens.
Yeah. I mean, this was even this match had a story because it went back to the C2 match where
Right?
he pinned Kyle. Like it
Yeah,
was just a solid wrestling match. So
yeah.
good.
And they're both like Mark Briscoe's a guy who's always going to have a good match, and Kyle Fletcher is just like he's now on that level where like every one of his matches is good.
Yeah. And there he needs to be searching for some gold here soon too.
Yeah. It's such a weird situation where AEW has so many titles, but then there's so many people who I feel like should have a title. It's very
Exactly.
weird.
Exactly. Um, well, before we button things up, we have the Women's World Championship. Timeless Tony Storm versus Megan Bayne. What do they call her? The Megasaur?
Megasis.
Megasis. Yeah, Megasaur. I said that all night on Friday, and everyone
Megasaur is like a Power Rangers villain. Like, it sounds like a Power Rangers thing. Well, not, but it sounds like it should be.
Oh, yeah. That's all Sunday. I was like, that's the Megasaur. They're like, nope, that's wrong again. So, and I even messed it up on here, which is funnier.
Nice.
Megasis. Like
this
Pegasus.
Was I don't think it's even controversial. I think this was my favorite match. I think this is the match of the night for me.
Definitely. I'll
like
agree with you.
The 3-way international title was like the craziest match with like the biggest spots, but I think this was my favorite match of the night.
I texted you during this match the same thing with Kevin Knight. I said people were watching Megan Bayne become a star in real time.
Yeah.
And she did not disappoint. Like if anyone had any questions, they were all answered during this match about her.
And that spot when Tony hit her with the hip attack in this Dome Zero and then she kicked out at 1.
Unbelievably
that
awesome.
Was such a like awesome move because it makes her look so badass. And again, Tony Storm's another one. It doesn't matter if she like it's not like, oh no, her finisher means nothing. Like no, it's Tony Storm. Everyone liked her. She's over. Like it doesn't matter. But it did so much for Megan Bayne.
She is on a different level, you know. Like I said last week, I kind of feel bad for Camille. Like again, I know Camille went and made a movie that's doing well, but they're kind of the same. And
it's a similar character, similar
Camille's kind of, again, she's doing the movie thing right now. She's on the movie tour, but when she comes back, she has to be a little different.
Yeah,
that's all.
What did you think of the Tony Storm Rocky thing?
Absolutely incredible. I
thought it was great.
When what's his name? Luther. I'm sorry, I'm still stumbling over my words. When Luther was the trainer, he's so good.
He came running out, and I was like, "What's he doing running out?" And I was like, "Oh, I get it now."
Yeah, he's so good. Like at first, I was like, "I get why they have him in this. He's a guy at the end of his career that never got his flowers." Blah blah blah.
Right.
But I think he's the perfect for the part. Like
and when he carried Penelope Ford away and had like that silly look on his face, like that was funny. Like that was good.
He doesn't care. Like they could go to him and be like, all right, Luther, you need to you're gonna have peanut butter and jelly rubbed on you in the middle of the match, and Tony's gonna it's gonna help. Okay, fine, I'm down.
He's down.
And you know, and it doesn't matter for him either. Like you know,
this is like the biggest role he's ever had.
Right. And because of her, he's now just, I mean, it's funny. He's known as her butler, but he's her manager.
Right. And this was so
good.
I loved the Rocky thing because it adds like an extra layer to her character now that she's not just like a confused, 1920s star. Now she's just in films.
Yeah.
So she can change her character based on where they are. Like they're in Philadelphia, she can do Rocky, or they can change it based on like the situation she's in. She's like the plucky underdog facing a, massive monster. So she can be Rocky. And like when she's facing someone else, she can like change to some movie role that fits that situation. And like, it just adds that. And it's for some reason when she does it, it's not cheesy or silly. It just works.
Because she's set the bar of I'm going to do anything. So there isn't anything that's out of the question. So it's
and somehow it all makes sense. You're not like, oh, she's dressing up as Rocky for this match. Like somehow it fits her character. It's like, oh yeah, that's what Tony Storm would do. That makes perfect sense. Right. Like
did you watch the media scrum?
No, I heard her do a poem that we probably can't repeat on air.
Well, you gotta watch it for that. And then when she's decided that she was done, she was like, all right, now somebody ask me anything you want and I will get mad and storm away. and so the guy, he played right along. He was like, what's your order at Wawa? And she was like, that is it, I've had enough. And she walks out. I was like, the fact that the guy played along and asked a stupid question made it even better.
She's the best. I love her. She's amazing.
Yes, she is. And
We could go on and on about how great Toni
yes,
Storm. Like she's amazing. She's a great wrestler. She's a great character. She's funny, but also believable. She's serious. Like she's everything. She's great.
she is. And it's must see TV when she's on,
Right.
because it's you never know what's going to happen, but it's going to be entertaining.
Yeah, there used to be a time when like because AEW has their shows back to back to back to back. Like they have matches back to back. Like there's no
Yeah.
time in between, right? It's not like WWE where they play a 10-minute video package. I remember when I went to Forbidden Door. Did I mention I went to Forbidden Door? I went to Forbidden Door, and Toni Storm had a match on that show, and I even forget who she was against. But she was in a match, and like people left because she was like rock chick Toni Storm, and like people like that was people when people took their time to like go to the washroom or get food, like that was the match. There used to be a time when like the women's match wrongly, but a lot of the time was the time when like people started leaving, right? There's no way anyone's leaving when it's Toni Storm. Like there's no way. Like people will like rush. I could see people rushing back to their seats when her music comes on, right? Like she's so over. She's must see TV. You can't not be there.
Yeah, it's just wonderful. Do you have anything to add before we button this bad boy up?
There's one thing.
Okay.
Swerve didn't lose cleanly, right, to Mox.
Okay.
Do you think they do Swerve Mox again one-on-one like they did Cope Mox again? And they do a one-on-one like because this match wasn't the crazy match that everyone thought it was going to be, right? Like there was no thumbtacks or craziness. Do they have at some point, like either on pay-per-view or isn't there that the what's it called? There's two things coming up. There's the
spring break.
The night where it passes Nitro, spring breakthrough. And then there's a 4-hour one where it's Dynamite and Collision Fighter Fest back to back.
Oh, I forgot about that.
One time during the playoffs, because they're showing NHL on Saturday night, so they're not showing Collision.
Okay.
So they're airing Dynamite and Collision back to back as one show. Like they're calling it Fighter Fest, and it's like a 4-hour block on TV. Is one of those shows you think they do Mox Swerve again?
Definitely. And I would even go as far if Fighter Fest is going to be like a 4-hour show, I'd even say go as far as like cage match or something.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah. Oh, dude. I didn't even know that. Man, I just learned something.
It's gonna be fun.
That's awesome.
The main events, I don't know. I'm turned in favor of Mox now. Like I hated this title reign. And in the last like month or two, I started liking it. And now I kind of like it. Like I don't know why, but like now I kind of like it.
Hey, it means he's doing his job.
I get what they're doing now. Like I get it. Like there's so many people who, like I said last week, there's like 10 other people who you'd want to see win the title. Swerve or Samoa Joe or Hangman or MJF or Kenny Omega or Will Ospreay. Like there's so many people here like, oh, I want them to win the belt. And the fact that Mox is just like, not only am I have it and they don't, I'm not even gonna let you see it. Like I kind of like it now. I kind of like it.
I dig it. Yeah. It is the ultimate heel. Like there is no redeeming value to the Death Riders and Mox.
No, not at all. Like it's not even like sometimes the guy's a heel, but like he's just so good in the ring that you have to respect him.
Right.
Or sometimes like Christian, he says horrible things, but he's just funny. So you're like you're still like you boo him, but you're like I'm booing him because I appreciate his heel work, not because I'm mad at him.
Right.
Whereas Mox, like people hate him, like they're mad when he wins matches. Like I kind of like it now. Like, I don't know why. I'm like kind of turning on it. I kind of like it.
He's becoming like the anti-Cena.
Yeah. Well, like there's nothing good about him. There's like
he's just gonna keep winning and getting worse as a human.
I kind of like it, and I like what they're doing. That like they want it to be because they want you to so desperately want him to lose. Like I get how that
I get it. Yeah,
I get how it can turn people off because if it goes too long, people will be like, "Well, I'm sick of this."
Yeah.
Right. But at this point, like I was sick of it, but now I'm kind of into it again.
Yeah, I agree. Like they've hit this sweet spot now of like the no redeeming value of Mox, but it can't go forever. You're right. They're in it now, but they can't can't go past All In. All In.
No, it can't go past All In. It has to end at All In. I feel like that's where it ends.
It has to, or Well, if it doesn't, it don't but make my life any different, I guess. I guess I'll just complain about it on the internet.
Now I'll put you on the spot now with who is
Okay.
in the Owen so far. Who do you think faces Mox at All In? Because they're probably going to win the title. So who do you think it is? Because it's not Swerve's not in it, so it's not going to be Swerve. It's not going to be MJF. It's not going to be Kenny Omega.
Ospreay's winning the men's side, definitely.
I feel like it has to be. Yeah.
Now,
There's
the
an off
women's
chance maybe it's Hangman, but I think it's Ospreay.
I think it's Will.
Yeah.
The women's side though is gnarly. There's a lot. It could go a lot of different ways.
Yeah. I think it might be Jamie Hayter. I feel like her and Tony Storm, they have a history. That'd be a good match.
That would be a good match.
Who else is on that side of the bracket? I don't have it in front of me.
I don't have it in front of me either. If you
Hold
keep
on.
talking,
I will find it.
You can find it then. Oh man, I'm trying to think.
Let me see. Jamie Hayter versus Billy Starks. Thunder
Billy
Rosa
Starks
versus Chris Statlander.
See again, anybody could win any of those. Jamie beats Billy though.
Yeah. Rosa and Statlander? I don't know.
I don't know. That one could go either way.
That's a tough one.
I
Because like Mercedes moved on. I'm assuming she's going to cost Athena something. So I feel like Athena won't win.
Yeah, see, but that's weird that she would get knocked out in the first round. But I guess she was knocked out in the first round last time too.
Yeah, I could see Mercedes and Athena costing each other their matches. So
yeah,
neither of them make it.
And then that sets up like you said, that sets up a big like non-title women's
or TBS title. I don't know if
TBS. Oh, it's right.
Yeah. And then that it's either Jamie Hayter, Billy Starks, Thunder Rosa, or Chris Statlander.
I think Stat can win it. I
can see Stat. I could see Stat winning it. It'll be Stat or Jamie Hayter, I think.
Stat or Jamie Hayter. And I just thought of something. The Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor. Wait, no, that's the one that's for All In. Whatever the May pay-per-view is. Sorry.
Yeah. Dollar or Nothing.
What Ring of Honor May
I don't know.
It's May 5th. I know what date it is. I just can't think of what it's called.
Yeah.
Mercedes doesn't have an opponent yet. So if they cost each other matches, the Ring of Honor World title could be on the line.
Yeah.
And that could be match 2 or make that match 1 of a series, and then you could have match 2 in June.
Yeah.
And then July do like the 3rd.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
And it does something for Harley too, because they like Mercedes costs Athena, Harley came and beats Athena, and then maybe Athena costs Mercedes against Harley, and Harley ends up in the final, right? Like she's not going to win, but it gives you something.
So, hey, maybe Harley does. Well, no, not because now it's for a title shot. Not that she doesn't deserve a title shot, but yeah. Oh man,
it's exciting. It's gonna be fun.
Very exciting. Very exciting. On that note, we are at Elite City Pod on all social media. Give us a follow on YouTube and make sure you like the video. I've started doing that only on our videos though. Sorry. Make sure you give us a like on YouTube. It helps the algorithm. And everybody, I was just thinking of this. Everybody this week, when you see us post the shows, retweet, rethread, whatever that's called, get them out there, repost them. There you go.
Yes. We haven't asked people for that. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah,
just give it a repost. Help spread the word. We have a nice little community, so if everybody does it, that's double the amount of people that will at least see the post. So help us out. So that was our review of Dynasty, and we will be back with our normal weekly show early next week. So until then, later.